Hi, I'm the Second Opinion, and after you all voted just about as across the board as you could have, they opted to bring me back for a brief segment. What do I have to do to get you people to want me around? Pick a consistent personality? Threaten to shoot myself in the head again? Okay, well, YouTube's been breathing down my neck about how I'm almost breaking copyright and almost getting in trouble for it, so brief is just fine with me. It means I get to stick to plenty of still pictures. So let's get to it.
In 2013, right at the end of the polarizing Season 3 that everybody seems to have forgiven in hindsight, the writers of My Little Pony used the success of the show as a springboard for their first movie, except instead of focusing on the ponies, they focused on human counterparts they called the Equestria Girls, inviting viewers to, quote, learn all about the magical parallel universe with high schools instead of castles, where 6 pony friends become real girls with a love for fun and fashion.
Yeah, doesn't that sound like what fans of a show known for being very unique and breaking down gender barriers wanted?
Okay, so the movie begins with the 6 friends on a trip to Canterlot, where the recently promoted Princess Twilight Sparkle is getting her first Princess Summit tomorrow. Twilight still isn't sure she's entirely comfortable in the role, however, not to mention that she can't control her new wings that came with the job. Why? You mean that being a princess isn't just something that comes to you for being so vaguely special? What is this madness?
Actually, I do kind of like that they threw that in there. It's sort of a point I was missing from the finale, that stuff doesn't just come to you all the time for being a generally nice guy or gal. So, point for that.
You're nervous-sighted! It's like you want to jump up and down and yell, yay me! But you also want to curl up in a teeny tiny ball and hide at the same time! We've all been there! I'm there almost every day.
Okay, that was pretty funny.
Actually, to give credit where it's due, the whole first act of the movie kind of contains moments like that. Moments that make the characters relatable and likable without changing the aesthetic or the fantastical nature of the show. Like this amusing bit here where Twilight has trouble falling asleep because she's not used to having to tuck in wings sticking out of her back. It's one of the qualities the show made its name on, and a good example, which I probably wouldn't have come up with on my own, of something I was starting to miss in Season 3. So props for that.
Heck, maybe this movie won't be so bad, he said before the Equestria Girls showed up.
Anyway, the conflict gets underway when Sunset Shimmer, the former protege of Princess Celestia, whom Twilight replaced, returns to steal her magic crown, which is also 1/6 of the most powerful weapon for good in the land. Her plan is to take it back to the dimension she's fled to since her falling out with Princess Celestia, where human counterparts of all the ponies attend an average high school, but she loses it in the portal when Twilight gives chase, and through mostly convoluted means, it becomes the prize for the next crown princess of the school dance. Yes, we're doing that plot. Anyway, because Twilight and Spike are the only ones without human counterparts currently in the high school, it's up to them to go through the portal after Sunset Shimmer and retrieve the crown. Spike comes out a dog, because the show didn't hate him enough already, but Twilight, as advertised, turns into a teenage girl, thankfully with clothes provided, which luckily match the modern glitzy style of everyone else in the school perfectly.
I know, it's magic, and magic spells can probably keep up with the times and all that, but I mean, that's pretty specific, no? Going from a unicorn princess to a teenage girl in an outfit that just happens to suit her theme perfectly? I mean, I don't know, what if there was just some teeny tiny fluke to throw it off? I mean, what if it was right around Halloween, or everyone was going crazy for an internet video in which the characters were supposed to look weird, but because everyone was going crazy for it, they technically were in style, or I don't know, just anything to throw off the transition from alicorn princess to teenage girl. I mean, what happens then?
Are you a dog?
I think so, but I have no idea what you are.
Got some new glitter rugs and lovely pink sequin Crocs.
I have no idea what you are.
I am Inga from Sweden.
I have no idea what you are.
I am Batman!
I have no idea what you are.
I am a baby. I am a baby. I am a baby.
I have no idea what you are.
I am the one who knocks.
I have no idea what you are.
I am Groot.
Okay, so as you'd expect, Twilight comes across human counterparts of her 5 friends from back home, and, well, I guess now is as good a time as any to talk about the designs. I mean, not that I'm some kind of brilliant fashionista, but this is just basic knowledge on how to sell yourself. Okay. Consider the designs that won a fan base. They're not just cute, they're simple and distinct. They emphasize one color above all the others, and their most prominent feature is their expressive anime-style faces. Nobody think the girls weren't just a little bit of a step down from this? I mean, consider the Powerpuff Girls. They're also very memorable and cute because they keep the appearance dynamic. They have the simple color scheme down just fine, and they don't draw extra attention to an unnecessary feature. Heck, even the Sailor Scouts at least have the color scheme down, more or less. While they do want you to notice those legs really bad, they at least don't make them more distinct than the expressive anime-style faces. I mean, what's the first thing you notice about these things? Those awkwardly huge boobs. Otherwise, everything's just in a bland mishmash of colors. They look like cheap plastic dolls, not characters with staying power. I mean, what did you expect the fanbase to think? Oh, but here's the twist. None of them are friends here! They've been turned against each other by Sunset Shimmer, using misleading texts to get them to betray each other. Which probably wouldn't have worked if these formerly great friends had just asked each other for an explanation. But what do I know? Sunset Shimmer also figured out how to divide the whole school, after all, by encouraging them to stick to their own cliques.
That's right. If the crown is the prize at the princess dance wasn't cliche enough, our entire conflict is lifted straight out of High School Musical. Complete with the music.
Yeah. In fact, you know the first thing that happens to Twilight after she comes through the portal? She goes into the school and sings a song about how she just feels like such a fish out of water. Is she going to be downright spellbound by every boring thing we do because it's not like home? Yep. Is she going to trip over her own 2 feet all cutesy-like because she's not used to walking around this way? You betcha. Is she going to accidentally go into the boys' bathroom? Hey, it's been done before, right? Actually, most of the songs are like that. We have a song about how we're all just like each other underneath it all, a song about coming together as a school to make the big dance happen, a song about dressing up for their big night. Are we sure this wasn't supposed to be a Disney Channel original movie?
Still, to their credit, the other songs probably were a little better than the first one. The best of which being the cafeteria number. Because I gotta say, that one... well, it was alright.
Anyway, Twilight reconciles the friends by asking them to, well, actually ask for each other's explanation, and they help her campaign for the crown until she's brought the whole school together behind her. There's also a love interest, but he doesn't really do much besides smile his dopey Ken smile, and a scene where Shimmer confronts Twilight and reveals that she has big plans for the Element of Harmony, hinting that it'll do something serious from being dragged across dimensions. Okay. I will admit that other versions of this plot probably would have been a lot more entertaining if the characters trying to be elected dance princess had just happened, for what it's worth, to be magical animal sorcerers from another dimension.
Actually, in truth, the whole movie does kind of feel more dimensional because of these characters. I mean, granted, the plot is still generic, but, well, with them in the driver's seat, it still kind of loosens up as it goes, gradually feeling more genuine across the runtime.
Like, I don't even hate the song towards the end about dressing up for the dance. You'd think it'd be the ultimate piece of tween girl pandering, and true, there's some of that in there too, but it's just as much a showcase for each of their personalities, and it made me appreciate them more than I hated the idea. Heck, even the school portions start to become more interested in amusing cameos and references than in playing up the trendy crap they think kids identify with, which is usually what these kinds of stories do to a painful extent. Wait a minute. Snips and Snails are the henchmen? You sure you wouldn't rather use Diamond Tiara and Silver Spoon? Or the Flim Flam Brothers? Or not have henchmen? I mean, Snips and Snails, even in their biggest roles, they weren't really henchmen. They were just kind of there for us to hate.
Okay, anyway, the point still stands. I mean, why did it even want to be the generic high school story in the first place anyway? I mean, just having these characters already adds something that hits a little harder. I couldn't think of anything just a little more interesting than this.
Okay, so they have the dance, which Sunset Shimmer interrupts so she can turn into a demon, and we get a standoff, a climax, and finally the most abrupt and unconvincing change of heart this series has ever done, including... well, let's not get blasphemous. Anyway, you probably figured as much. Time for my overall opinion.
And in a nutshell, I'd say it's a split decision. The first act, cute, charming, filled with the genuine character moments I liked in this show in the first place, yes. The second act, generic, underachieving, no. And the third act,